Okay, so a very warm welcome to all of you. Wonderful to have you here with us in Raising Futures Kenya's Impact Showcase. 2024 has been a fantastic year for Seed of Hope, which is our sector-leading vocational training programme for young people and children in Kenya. Over the next hour, we're going to be hearing from the fantastic Mary and Florence in Kenya, our partner NGO. It's wonderful to have long-term supporters with us, some new faces, some new trustees, funders. You're all very, very warmly welcome. I'm just going to pass over now to our CEO, Kirsty, who's going to kick things off.
Hey, thank you, Leela. As Leela said, huge welcome to everybody. It's so nice to see some familiar faces and names that we're aware of, and people from funders, supporters, and other charities as well. So really huge welcome to you all. Thank you for joining us this morning. So just a little bit of background in case you don't know about Raising Futures Kenya. So we're a small UK charity with only 3 members of staff part-time. So that's Leela, Kirsty, Leela, myself, and Keely. And we work in partnership with an incredible Kenyan NGO who we've worked with for the last 23 years. And you'll be hearing from Mary and Florence, who run that organisation shortly, and they'll be able to talk about the incredible work that they do in Kenya with the young people that we work alongside. So as we work in partnership with this Kenyan NGO, in the last few years, we've been on a journey of realising the power that UK and NGOs based in the north have versus the usual programme delivery partners that are based in the global south. So we've been on a really intentional journey of shifting power to our Kenyan NGO that we work really closely alongside, because they are from the communities that they work in. They know the problems and the solutions that are needed far better than anyone else. So we're working towards encouraging funders to fund them directly, and doing anything we can to pass that decision making over to the Kenyan NGO, and we are purely there in a supporting capacity, which will be led by their needs and what they want us to do. So with that in mind, we've welcomed 5 new trustees to our UK board this year, who are incredibly talented, experienced trustees that are going to help us on this journey as we continue. And as part of that, we've reviewed our vision, mission, and values for the UK organisation. So the Kenyan entity have their own. So our vision for the UK organisation is for all children and young people to be able to create safe, rewarding futures for themselves, free from poverty and exploitation. And our mission is to support children and young people in Kenya to break those cycles of poverty and inequality through skills training for employment and entrepreneurship. And we've updated our values recently, which reflect the organisation that we are now and where we want to be. So we're people-centred. So our organisational culture centres on the importance of well-being, lived experience, and the ability to thrive for all students, staff, and anyone working with Raising Futures Kenya. So we want to ensure that the organisation not only supports the young people, but also the staff and the volunteers that work alongside us as well. So we're collaborative, we listen actively, we reflect on our own actions, we openly admit to failure, we look for opportunities to learn, to act, and to be better. We're happy to share with and learn from individuals and organisations in our work to create the biggest impact. So you'll hear later from Mary on the work that the Kenyan team are doing to share their learning with other organisations that are providing skills training. We're very open to collaboration and working with other organisations for the greater good. And we're bold. We set really ambitious targets, both within our programmes and for advocating for change within the sector. So we strive for meaningful impact, not just good intentions. And we're not afraid to speak out and make bold changes. So we'll call out things that we don't agree with in order to improve the sector as a whole. So that's a little bit about the UK organisation, and I want to pass over now because I want most of the time to be with Mary and Florence, because that's why you're all here. So thank you once again for joining us, and please feel free to put questions in the chat as you think of them, and we've left time at the end so we can go through the questions. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Kirsty. So as many of you know, youth unemployment in Kenya skyrocketed through the global pandemic. Many young people leave school without qualifications, without the skills that they need to be able to access employment opportunities. And and to generate income and have the opportunity to break cycles of poverty for themselves. So Seed of Hope is quite special, and I'm going to pass over now to Mary to introduce herself first of all, and also to explain a little bit more about how Seed of Hope is answering this problem.
Okay, hi everyone and welcome to the meeting. My name is Mary Mwangi, the Executive Director of Raising Kenya's NGO based in Kenya. I have worked with the organization for the last 15 years. And one of the key things that really inspires me every day is to see the transformation that we make in the lives of the young people that we train through our Seed of Hope program. Coming in as very desperate young people with no skills, with very low self-esteem, to living after 6 months or 12 months of their training as very confident young people who are ready to go into the business world and start their own small businesses or have the confidence to go and seek for salaried employment. So for me, it stands out that we can, within such a short period of time, be able to offer the skills and other add-ons that can change a human's life in such an incredible way. So as Lila has mentioned, the youth unemployment in Kenya has been on the rise, worst after the pandemic, because so many people lost their livelihoods, and we have also had extreme weather conditions that has made the situation worse, both for the young people and for their families. But the young people are worst hit because they do not have the necessary skills they would need to create employment for themselves or to seek salaried employment. Most of the young people enrolled in our institutions say that without Seed of Hope coming in, they would have ended up as either domestic house workers or married off young because they did not have an option and there was no way out with the current economic crisis. So Seed of Hope comes in to offer employability skills through different vocational training courses that enable these young people in Kenya to make a better future for themselves. We have 3 training centers. One is in Nairobi, another one is in Kitui, and another one is in rural Murang'a. Kitui is an arid and semi-arid area, very dry in most times of the year or all year round sometimes. So food poverty is very high there. Murang'a is a rural area also that have similar challenges with Kitui, and we are also in Nairobi in the slums of Dagoretti. And the one key common thing within all these areas is that the vulnerability for the young people is very high because the environment is not conducive for them, but also because they are very, very scarce resources for them to be able to access, and the populace there is not able to take them for further education. And those who drop out and need some support, they are not able to be given that support. So we come in as Seed of Hope to offer these young people hope where they have lost hope through giving them the opportunity and for them to access the free training in our centers for the different courses that we offer. In our Nairobi Seed of Hope Center, we have 3 vocational courses, that is hair and beauty, we have fashion and design, and we have motor vehicle mechanics. In the Murang'a Center, we have catering and hospitality, we have hair and beauty, and we have electrical wiring and installation. In the Kitui Center, we have carpentry and joinery, hair and beauty, and fashion and design. And then we have a short common course that is trained in all the 3 centers on entrepreneurship, financial literacy, and computer skills. So this is for those students who do not want to necessarily go through the vocational courses, but they need the skills to set up their small businesses as maybe they transition to tertiary education or as they look for online working, because we know at the current, the online space, virtual working is really a thing, and many young people are really looking for skills to enable them to navigate that space. So the course on entrepreneurship and financial literacy and computer skills is also trained for all the other young people taking the vocational courses, so that as they finish their vocational training, they also have the necessary skills to start their businesses or to run or to get salaried employment. Other than the vocational training, we also have extra add-ons through our Seed of Hope program, which includes mental health and training. We have counseling and mental health and counseling. We have childcare vouchers for young mothers. We have sanitary or period packs for all the girls population, and we have cooked lunches for the students, as well as sexual and reproductive health for all the trainees. So these extra add-ons ensure that our students are resilient and are molded all around to enable them to navigate the business world or the employment world once they leave Seed of Hope. But it also addresses issues of trauma and other issues they may have encountered in their vulnerable backgrounds. So it comes really in hand in ensuring that they complete their training. The young mothers, through the voucher, are able to get childcare support for their young children, and this enables them to complete the training without dropping out. Over the past 5 years, we have seen our numbers increase from way below 200 young people in the pre-pandemic time to now we're having a target of 1,050 students per year. And this incredible growth in numbers has only been enabled by the great work done by the team members, but also the greater initiative of the funders who have invested in our work and enabled us to be able to make this change. Since inception, Seed of Hope has been able to reach over 5,000 young people whose lives have been changed for the better, and are living examples that investing in young people can really create a better future for them. Through Seed of Hope, we have been able to get a bigger populace of young girls and young mothers who are transitioning and managing to break barriers that have been traditionally there, such as not accessing childcare. And through the support we are giving them, they are able to get education and set up their businesses. And we have seen that more about 75% or more of our graduates are able to access employment or run their own small businesses, and they are able to earn an income that is above the World Bank poverty line, and they are supporting themselves and their small families from our impact data. And we are really grateful for our supporters, because this impact will not be achieved without your input. I think I'll stop it at that, Leila.
Thank you so much, Mary. There's so much to share about how the Seed of Hope program is running, everything that you and Flo have done to create a fantastic environment to enable young people to really thrive. So I wonder now if we can go over to Flo. Could you first introduce yourself and also expand a bit more on the unique recipe of Seed of Hope? What is Seed of Hope doing that is different to other organizations?
Thank you, Leila, and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the meeting. My name is Florence Olwenge. I work for Raising Futures Kenya. I'm the program manager of Seed of Hope. So I have worked for Raising Futures for the last, say, 23 years. So from the beginning, my motivation has been rooted in a desire to see young people, particularly those from disadvantaged backgrounds, rediscover hope and achieve their potential. So witnessing transformation where individuals who once felt hopeless evolve from determined, skilled professionals with bright futures. So that has been my greatest inspiration. And also seeing the success stories makes me feel very much inspired and to continue with working with Seed of Hope and Raising Futures Kenya. So the unique Seed of Hope is very unique from other training institutions. I would say it's not, we have very many training institutions in Kenya, but Seed of Hope is unique in a way that it's like I would say a safe haven where young people find support and a sense of belonging. So combining the skills, especially like vocational training skills, combining with financial literacy, computer, menstrual health, sexual and reproductive health and rights, and mental health, and also mentorship. So we empower students to face challenges with confidence and succeed in their chosen paths. So additionally, we also have an incubation hub, which the students use as a startup for their businesses. So that's how unique Seed of Hope is. So I would say growing Seed of Hope reach through scaling is essential. Expanding our programs is I would say a means of impacting more lives and extending our support to underserved communities. With the increased reach, we can ensure that more young people have access to quality and holistic training, which is our training module. It's a holistic training whereby we make sure the whole human being has been changed. So this scaling not only transforms individual lives, but also strengthens families and communities. So that creating a ripple effect of positive change. Thank you, Leila.
Thank you, Flo. And just, yeah, picking up on what you said there, this year has been a year of really incredible growth in terms of scaling Seed of Hope and training other education providers in our award-winning model. And I loved, Flo, when you said when you were developing the curriculum, the very special sexual reproductive health and wellbeing curriculum, that the curriculum is more than just a set of lessons, it's a dynamic roadmap, empowering our partners to deliver transformative solutions. So Mary, I wonder if you could share what's so special about the scaling program.
Yes, thank you, Leila. I'd say that at the center of the success of our Seed of Hope program lies the extra support and especially the training in sexual reproductive health and rights, as well as mental health and counseling support for the young people. We realize that the majority of the young people in the underserved communities that we work with really face a lot of trauma. And in their day-to-day lives, they also face many challenges and barriers that really make them not to be able to reach their potential as they should. So Seed of Hope, especially after the pandemic, we revamped our courses to include extensive training in mental health and counseling, but also on sexual and reproductive health. And from the student surveys that we have conducted, as well as graduate surveys, this is one of the key items that has supported our students and graduates to be so resilient and do so well in establishing themselves, whether that is in setting up their businesses or in accessing salaried employment because they're able to express themselves, but also because they're able to address the issues that they have faced in their life and be able to heal and overcome them. So this is a very unique thing that has only been within our Seed of Hope model, and that we recognize that other young people from other vocational training centers and to an extent as we continue to grow other institutions will benefit a lot from, because it addresses issues that are not addressed in a normal setup. In a normal setup, we have students attending a class, writing notes about a particular course and going home. But then in the current world we live in, we know that mental health issues, sexual reproductive health issues with so many young people becoming sexually active and others experiencing things such as rape or transactional sex are rampant in our communities, and especially in the in the communities that we work in. So in recognition of the success that that aspect has had for our Seed of Hope students, we felt that it would be very helpful for other actors in the TVET. TVET is Technical Vocational Education Training. Would really benefit the young people in the institutions if they got similar training. However, in trying to scale the impact of Seed of Hope, we are very cognizant of the fact that we may not have the necessary resources that we would need to set up a Seed of Hope center in every other county or sub-county in Kenya. And so we made the decision that we would want to use existing infrastructure and partner with other TVET institutions so that we can train them on our Seed of Hope model with the intention of them passing the same training to the young people that are enrolled in the institutions. So in early 2023, we started on this journey, and through one of our funders who generously funded this initiative, we have been able to develop a curriculum, the one that you have seen some of those partners holding, a very comprehensive curriculum in partnership with other actors in the sexual, reproductive, and mental health field. And using this curriculum, we are able to train other institutions. We train 2 teachers or 2 trainers per institution that are able then to go and train their other colleagues, and together they roll out the training to the young people in the institutions. So through this training in Q1 of 2024, we were able to pilot this program with 3 institutions, 3 TVET institutions, and they completed their training in late April, and in May they started implementing the training for their cohort of students that were enrolled in May. And in July this year, we visited the 3 pilot institutions as we were doing a review of the training curriculum to be able to see whether it fits to roll out. And the impact or the feedback that we got from the institutions was amazing. One particular institution in the sprawling Kibera slums called St. Charles Lwanga had been able to reduce their girl population dropout rate from a prior existing 30% per cohort to 0. And primarily the students dropped out from teenage pregnancies or botched abortions. But once they got this training and they were able to extend it to the students, also noticed mental health issues as they cropped up and addressed them, they were able to reduce the dropout rates practically to 0. And within the current cohort that we found in July, who are doing their national examinations in August, none of the female population had actually become pregnant within that particular time. So that was for us an incredible impact, and a real show of how much this kind of training was needed for the young people across the nation as it is. So from the pilot program, we have been able to enroll another cohort to train, and this time around we enrolled 10 institutions that will be finishing their training on Friday this week, the 6th. And even them, they have been training since September this year to end on 6th, and they have already started training these, incorporating this training in their training, and they are already seeing a lot of change in the young people that are in the institutions, with a lot of positive outlook in life from mental health and counseling support, but also a big reduction in drug use, and a lot of young people within the institutions seeking support and help on how to engage in safe sex and to access family planning options, for example. So we know that this training came just in time, and through the 13 institutions that we have been able to reach as at the end of this year, we will have reached a total of about 2,500 young people who are trainees in those institutions. So that one, coupled with the 1,050 students from our Seed of Hope Center, you can see how big the impact is of the young people that we are reaching and whose lives that we are changing every day through our Seed of Hope model. One of the cases that stood out from the institutions that we are training on the sexual reproductive health and mental health support is that we got a student who was a Seed of Hope student and graduated in 2012. And after she graduated, and she started training young mothers from the Kibera community where she lives in skills on fashion and design so that they would be able to support themselves. And in her training, she was spotted by one of the local humanitarian organizations because the work she was doing was outstanding. So they enlisted her in one of the informal institutions that they give support to. And when we were doing recruitment for the current cohort that we are training on the sexual reproductive health, she was pointed out to this training, and she was really, really excited that Seed of Hope, which forms the base of her success story, is offering such a training to help support more young girls and more young mothers to change their lives. So her and her colleague enrolled for this training. So they're going to finish the training on Friday. And from this training, she says that she will be able to reach and support more young mothers in Kibera. She trains around 24 young mothers per year in skills in fashion and design. But she says that beyond the fashion and design skills, she will now be able to give them the skills on sexual reproductive health and mental health support. And she knows that this will really, really help in making them thrive even more, and especially looking at the life in the slum in Kibera, which is really, really very oppressive to women and girls. The skills she has got, she feels that these women will be able to have options and to be able to speak out for themselves, and thus making the community even better. So, as Lila has said, we are also sharing our expertise in this, not just with the vocational training centers in Kenya, but also beyond Kenya. We are partnering with other organizations like-minded who are looking at supporting youth and young people across the world. And in particular, we have worked in consultation with Pestalozzi International. I know they are represented in the room, and we are very excited to what the prospects look like for their project that they want to implement in Zambia. And we as an organization are looking forward to being able to influence the government policy, especially around the technical vocational training, so that many other young people in Kenya will be able to get these very important skills that will enable them to be resilient and be able to create employment for themselves and for other young people. So that is our scaling at the moment, still in the initial stages, and we are very, very excited to see how it will look like in the future as we continue to roll it out further. So on the photo on the screen is Winnie, the spectacled girl. She's our Seed of Hope graduate from 2012, and the other lady is her colleague, and together they are training an average of 24 young mothers per year, which is incredible for us that we have been able to give her the skills 12 years ago, and she's using them to influence so many other young people at the moment. Back to you, Lila.
Thank you. The ripple effect is just incredible. I love that full circle story of Winnie there on the left, having been a student and now actually training others in the Seed of Hope model. And the numbers are just mind-blowing. What you and Flo have been able to achieve so far this year already is amazing. And we're very excited to see what comes next. Now, this time last year, we were just about completing our construction of the new permanent building at Dagoretti slum in Nairobi, where demand had completely outgrown our temporary structures. We were there in temporary structures for about 7 years in corrugated classrooms and container classrooms. And in February, we held an incredibly joyful launch, coupled with the graduation ceremony of the 2023 graduates from Nairobi. I'm going to hand over to Flo now to give a mini guided tour of the new building.
Thank you, Leila. Yeah, I will take you for a tour in our new building. It really looks amazing and exciting. So this is our computer lab. You can see it has enough computers for the students, and each and every student at least has been able to use the computers during their lessons. So this is a hair, fashion and fabric design class, the next one. You can also see the class is well equipped with enough machines, electric and manual, for the students' use. The next class is, the next one is the office. That is our office. You can see it, well furnished. So the next one is a hairdressing and beauty therapy class. So the hairdressing and beauty therapy class also has enough tools and equipments for the students. You can see it's also well furnished. So upstairs, we have the temporary classes, which are being used for theory. And we are hoping that in future we'll be able to add more classes upstairs, and that means that the moment we have more classes, we'll have more students and more courses. Yeah, and there's a shade somewhere there that is used by motor vehicle mechanic students. So thank you everyone who contributed towards this beautiful building.
Thank you. And also we've got the business hub, which has been created there. So nothing went to waste. The temporary classrooms were put on top, and also the container classrooms have been converted into a business hub. So students can come and use the resources to start their own small businesses. And one of the things that we perhaps don't kind of talk about enough is the incredible ripple effect, the really powerful impact of the mentoring program, which is a really key ingredient in terms of Seed of Hope. So Flo, I wonder if you could share a little bit more about how it works and the impact that it has.
Okay, mentorship, I would say, is one of our main objectives at Seed of Hope, and it's the reason why our graduates are very successful. So mentorship program at Seed of Hope is designed to empower young people by providing them with guidance, support, and practical skills to navigate challenges, and also to achieve their personal and professional goals that align with the courses that they did. So, and this, the mentorship, I would say, aligns with our course or our mission, which is to equip and transform lives of disadvantaged young people. So how this mentorship program runs is the graduates normally come during a MOOCA program. So a MOOCA program is the program that takes place the first few weeks after enrollment. It's kind of orientation, and this program is very important. It's called Amuka. Amuka is a Swahili word meaning wake up. So it helps build a strong foundation at the beginning of our training, and the key elements of Amuka are self-awareness and self-esteem. So during this time, the graduates share their experiences and also their challenges, and they tend to encourage these young people who are have just been enrolled, how they are going to go about, and how there's nothing impossible. Everything is possible if you are determined to achieve your goals. So we pair, after that AMUCA training, we pair the students with the graduates. And after that, the work begins. So these graduates work with these students throughout their training, and then even they also help them to get internship placements, and they also give them internship placements because I would say most of our graduates are very successful. Some of them have their businesses in place, and they normally give the first priority for internship placements to our graduates. And even when it comes to employment, they give our graduates the first priority. So you will listen to Rosbella, one of our graduates. She's a Seed of Hope graduate, and she's also trained as a counselor and a psychologist. Please listen to her.
Hi everyone, my name is Rosbella Amale, and I'm so happy to be in this forum or rather this meeting. I am a graduate from Seed of Hope, and it has been quite a lovely journey. I am a fashion designer. I just graduated from counseling psychology, and I can say all is because I had a nice stepping stone, that is Seed of Hope. I am a mentor, and I do mentorship in Seed of Hope lately, and that is because I was mentored to be where I am. So I go back and just share my experience, share what is happening around. And apart from mentorship, I also mentor people to be done in my workplace, where we are right now. And like for now, I have one came as a mentor, as an intern. But he was so good that I decided to have him as one of my employees. It's so amazing. So through mentorship, I've seen so many people gaining chance to be employed or self-employed, and I believe that while people are mentored and when people are exposed to different things and different areas of life, they can do amazing. Thank you.
So Flo, in your 20 plus years of shaping Seed of Hope and delivering Seed of Hope, you've probably guided about 5,000 children and young people through the program. In your time, I wonder if you could share a memorable story or an impact story that stands out for you.
Yeah, definitely. I have very many impact stories, and most of them are very memorable, but I'll share one of Catherine. Catherine graduated in 2018. She was a catering and hospitality student at Kareti Seed of Hope. So she was, in fact, coming from a very humble background or poor background. And if it were not for a good Samaritan who helped her complete her secondary education, maybe she would not have completed. So after completing her high school, from her friends, she heard about Seed of Hope. Okay, she joined us. And as you know, we take them through a lot of counseling and mentorship. So she completed her training, then later on got internship placement in Sagana. Those who come from Nairobi, I know you know Sagana is in Nyeri. So she got an internship placement there for 3 months. So through her hard work and also with the help of our graduates, she managed to get a job at a hotel called Delight. I think, yeah, in her shirt, you can see it's Delight Hotel. It's in Narok, and she is very successful. In fact, she has lifted the life of her parents and her siblings. So she is a supervisor. So that's the beautiful story about Catherine.
Thank you, Flo. And just in thinking about just how important uplifting whole communities is to us. Not everyone will know that we have a whole program of agricultural business which runs alongside vocational training to support people in the community. So I wonder, Mary, whether you could explain a little bit more about the importance of the pilot program, which was funded by the Charles Hayward program in Kariti.
Yeah, thanks, Leda. For us, the success of our students and graduates is also rooted in the success of their communities. And we know that without the community knowing of what we do or of our existence, then we cannot get the students being referred to the institutions for training. And so we work closely with the communities where our students and graduates come from. One, to make sure that they know of the programs that we run at Seed of Hope and the courses so that they refer the students, but also to identify gaps that are in the community that we can be able to support them in bridging, and especially where those gaps address issues such as food security and sustainability. So in our two rural centers, that is Murang'a and Kitui, food security is a big issue, has been a challenge. And so in our community needs assessment with the community, this is one of the key areas that they really said on top of training students at our centers, they would appreciate a program that would support the local members of the communities to address the challenges they have in having food security, but also in ensuring that they have better production in their farms, such that they can be able to address the food security issues, but also sell some of the produce that they produce to be able to cater for other needs within their households. So in 2022, we partnered with the Ministry of Agriculture in Murang'a and started an agribusiness training for the community within Kariti Seed of Hope Center. And we set up a demo farm within the center. The center has a farm that we converted into a demonstration farm where we planted particular crops that the community can come when they are being trained by the Ministry of Agriculture experts. And see the crops in actual existence as they grow. So you can see from the photo on the screen, we have some bananas. Those are in our farm in Kariti. On the right side, we have the greenhouse with cabbages growing. Again, we have a water pod, which we use to harvest runoff rainwater, as well as rainwater from the greenhouse. And in the middle of that photo, we have the fantastic story of Francis, who was in our very first cohort of trainees of the farmers and who we caught up with in about a month ago when we were doing an assessment of the impact the training has had within the community. And we had the opportunity to get feedback from about 75 farmers who were trained in different cohorts. We had 4 cohorts of trainees, and we had feedback from different farmers from all these cohorts. And Francis came from the first cohort of training, which was conducted in 2022. And from his feedback, he has been able to implement a lot of the learnings from the training, and he has transformed his farm quite literally to having a produce that is so big, you cannot actually expect that it's coming from his small piece of farm. He has been able to increase his avocado production from less than 100 kilos per season to a whole ton. That is about 1,000 kilos per season. And from the sales of the avocado, he has been able to start a small business for himself, which is earning him some income to be able to cater for other household needs, such as medical care for himself and his aging wife. But he's also able to support some of his grandchildren with their education because their parents are not very well off. And on top of that, because we did also train them on access to market to sell their farm produce, he's able also to join a farmer's circle within his village, and he's currently saving at least 2,000 shillings per month, which he's keeping it as a safe lock for when he may need it. So kind of some insurance of some sort, and he knows that with that he's backed up and will be able to access that funds in case he needs them. And these other farmers that also took part of the survey, all of them reported increased food security. So none of them really is sleeping hungry as we speak. And slightly above 50% of them have also been able to produce more, not just to meet their food needs in their households, but they have been able to produce more and to sell them to the market. And this is having a very positive impact within the entire community, because crime rates have gone down because the parents are engaging their young people in the farming and production, but also the stability of the community has really gone up. And some of the community members who we trained are also giving back to our Seed of Hope Center. So they're giving in form of kind in food. They take maize and beans to the Seed of Hope feeding program at Kariti, and we are really happy that they're seeing these positive changes. We are planning to have a similar project in our Kitui Center from next year. One of our big funders here has enabled us to do that because they have funded a borehole, which in Kitui being a semi-arid area, you can see from that photo, the main challenge is water. But now we have a funder who has committed to fund us to be able to sink a borehole, actually to drill a borehole, a 240-meter deep borehole that will ensure that we have all year round provision of water, not just for our farm, but also to be able to extend it to the community so they have affordable water and they can be able to farm, especially kitchen gardens and other crops that will again go to Kitui and partner with the Ministry of Agriculture again and see what kind of crops do they need to be trained on and how can we make their farms better so that they also have food security. So Seed of Hope is literally giving hope to the entire community, not just the young people that are joining our centers, but also transforming the community within where they are so that they get a conducive environment to transition into business, because once the community is empowered, then it becomes the first client to their businesses, but also to ensure that the communities feel our presence. Seed of Hope is there, so what impact can they relate with Seed of Hope? And this also supports us in especially getting the young people, because these community members have a far much deeper reach within the community, and they know the vulnerable cases of young people that needs to be supported through our Seed of Hope centers. So they act as ambassadors, and when we are in constant contact with them, it ensures that we have the numbers flowing during all our enrollments. Thanks, Lila.
Thank you so much. It's just incredible to hear again the impacts and the ripple effects of this work in the wider community. And I just want to make sure that we say a really big thank you to all of our supporters and funders who've awarded us funding this year, who've believed in us and invested in young people and children in Kenya through our small charity. So thank you so much for supporting us with Seed of Hope, committing to support and equip young people with the skills and confidence that they need to be able to gain employment, start small businesses and break cycles of poverty. We could not be making the big impacts that we are without your support. So thank you so much. And I'm going to pass back to Kirsty to share a little bit more about the amazing giving opportunity coming up.
Thanks, Leela. Yeah, a huge thank you to each and every person that's donated or made a grant to us, because without you, none of this is possible. So together, everyone is making a big difference. So thank you. And on that note, we're really delighted to have been selected to take part in the Big Give Christmas Challenge again, which is a 1-week matched funding opportunity where any donation made during this week will be doubled. And that is a huge thank you to everyone at Millennium Consulting and the Waterloo Foundation who have pledged to provide that match pot. So basically anything you donate, they will match for 1 week only. So the link is there. So please feel free to go and make a donation if you're able to. On average, it costs just £25 a month to provide all of the vocational skills training, the business skills training, the food, the counselling, all of the holistic support that a student gets is just £25 for a whole month of that training and support. So for this week only, you'll get 2 months for the price of one support. So please do take part if you're able to. And I'm delighted to pass over to Phil Keats now, who is the director of Millennium Consulting, who have supported Raising Futures Kenya for nearly 2 decades. Every year they run an incredible fundraising golf day for us, and are just an incredible support. And we're delighted that Phil was able to go to Kenya a couple of months ago and visit Mary and Florence and see Seed of Hope in action. So I'd love to just pass over to Phil now for a couple of words, and then we'll open up to questions. So over to you, Phil. I think you're still on mute, Phil.
We're just connecting him now, won't be a second.
Thanks, Sam. There we go.
And that's amazing that I'm just seeing in the chat that Keely shared that £900 has already been raised on the Big Give. We're working towards our most ambitious target yet of £30,000. So thank you so much to everyone who's helped to give us an amazing start.
Apparently I've shared the wrong link. Sorry. Let me try again.
If anyone's got any questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat now.
And thank you, Sonia, for saying that if you cut and paste the link, that it will work if you paste that into your browser. It might just not hyperlink from the Zoom chat.
Hello. Hello, Kirsty. Sorry,
Hi,
I don't know whether you can hear me now. Sorry about that. We had a little bit of a issue with our sounding. Just to say a few words to say thank you for inviting me to join you, to thank everybody for contributing and helping to the amazing work that you're doing in Kenya. And Jane and I were very fortunate to spend some time at Seed of Hope in Nairobi in October. And we saw the amazing work that Mary and Florence are doing out in Nairobi. We also met with Dan Bunter, who was also there on that particular day, and it was great to spend some time with him and find out a little bit more about what's going on in Nairobi. So as I said, we've been supporting Raising Futures Kenya for 20 years, and delighted to be able to contribute and help. And I think with the Big Give opportunity we have now, as you say, we can double the impact that we're giving. So if anybody's able to support us, then that would be really much appreciated. And yeah, Layla and Kirsty and Florence and Mary and all the team, a big thank you and congratulations for all your amazing efforts to help young people in Kenya who clearly are benefiting by what you're doing. And on that note, I'll pass you back, Kirsty.
Thanks so much, Phil. And we were delighted that after 20 years, you were finally able to go and see the impact that all of your support has given over the years.
And we are open for questions. So I don't think that people have been using the chat to raise questions as we go along. But we are all about learning, sharing. And if you'd like to know more about anything that Mary and Flo have shared through the presentation, please do ask a question. So it's anything about impact in 2024, plans yet to come, feel free to come off your mics, off mute, and ask the question.
Got a question from Susie, which is, I'm going to ask Mary this. What is the RFK team most excited about for the next few years?
Sorry, would you come up again, Kirsty?
Yeah. What is the RFK team most excited about for the next few years?
Definitely the expansion of the Seed of Hope model and impact, and we are looking forward to training bigger number. We have already done 13 TVET centers, and we are looking at maybe tripling or getting to 50 institutions in the next 3 years or so. But one of the key things that really we would like to see is the change in government policy. So we are currently working with a group of TVET actors. So that includes development partners that is under the Presidential Working Group on TVET. And one of the key things they really look at is policy and how we can better that for TVET. So we are looking at being able to influence that policy and seeing a change in how the Kenyan TVET sector looks, and especially addressing the most necessary issues on mental health and sexual reproductive health for young people. And over and above that, we are also looking at getting our Nairobi build to maybe another 2 floors up, so that we can be able to offer minimal courses as needed, but also so that we can be able to grow from just a vocational center to potentially a bigger institution that is offering diploma level courses, because they are really, really in need, especially when they are given at a lower or subsidized cost. Yeah.
Thank you, Mary. And Flo, do you want to share something that you're excited about coming up? Or if not Flo, Kirsty.
Yeah, I just wanted to sort of reflect on the one of the slides that you shared earlier with the number of students that are being reached, because I think we sort of gloss over it a bit, and it's difficult to comprehend that just 4 years ago we were supporting around 125 students a year, and with the addition of maybe 2 or 3 extra teachers, we're now supporting over 1,000 young people every year. And it's just such a catalytic change in the number of young people that are benefiting from this skills training and this level of support, that I think because the change happens so rapidly, and I think because Mary and Florence are just so efficient and dedicated, that they don't often shout about that. So I just wanted to really reflect on that, and I'm excited about the growth that's going to happen in the next 4 years, given what they can do with student numbers in the last 4 years. And as Mary mentioned, working with other existing technical vocational training providers that are already there, but helping them to improve their provision, will increase the impact of Seed of Hope without us having to build more centres and employ more teachers, because funding is in limited supply. So it's how we can best use those limited resources. So yeah, I just wanted to take a moment to sort of celebrate that success for Mary and Florence, because it's such an incredible increase in the impact in just 4 short years, with very little increase in costs.
Absolutely, it is amazing. The growth is incredible, and I know that it's being done in a very measured way as well. But the scaling program is just an absolute catalyst, isn't it, for expansion? But if anyone has any questions about how that's been achieved, please feel free to ask a question now, or to reach out to us by email, and we can have follow-up discussions as well. So if there aren't any other questions or comments, then it just remains to say thank you very, very much for joining us. Thank you for spending the time to hear the amazing impacts and updates from Mary and Flo directly from Kenya. I'm personally just completely in awe of what they're achieving, and yeah, very excited to see what comes next. But thank you everyone for joining us and for all your support.
Yep, thank you everyone. Have a nice afternoon.